rotate device.
Yeah.
Did you want to just? I think we can switch it. Yes.
Should be good, I think.
Yeah, just like this.
Yeah.
All right.
We're live right now. People are joining in. All right, talk to us about whatever we're going to talk about.
We are.
Yeah.
Talk it, chat it up. So we're doing this. So this is the only way that we can do this.
I guess it's not letting you flip the camera.
Well, yeah, of course, right here.
Okay, see if it'll flip it. Perfect, because then I'm going to film you.
Perfect.
Got it.
See how much easier that was? I thought you were the camera.
Hey, don't hit. I'm just see how this
We'll wait for some people to jump in, and once they start jumping in, then we'll just start answering questions about being live on site. Hello, sir.
Sorry.
No, you're good. You're fine.
Oh, dude, you got 10 people already. I mean, you might have to start entertaining folks, you know?
People just want to see a live construction site. That's all.
Yeah. All right, we'll see. Hey, give us one in the chat or something. Okay, chats are coming up. Rotate it back. Matt is sideways. All right, we'll keep it like this.
Cool.
Glad you're out of quarantine and able to do a walkthrough.
If you want
Perfect.
to, there's a strap right here. You can put your fingers through.
Sick. All right. Well, shoot. Give us an intro, Mr. Lumberjack. What are we working on in here, dude? What's going on?
What's going on, everybody? Well, it's Lumberjack Landlord here with his good buddy, Millennial Mike. Mike's behind the camera. We wanted to, see, there's his thumbs up. We wanted to just jump into one of the locations that we actually have. It's an actual live construction site. So we just wanted to jump on site and actually walk through it. That way, answer some of your guys' questions. I know that a lot of guys like to do the value add stuff or want to do the value add stuff. Really have no clue how to do the value add stuff. And so I think it's really cool. One of the things that was really going to help me out a lot when I was a new investor was just walking properties.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really know what I was looking at. I didn't really understand what I was looking at. I didn't really understand how it pertained to what I was going to do with the project or the job. I had no idea how much material to buy. All these other thousands of different questions. So if you are checking us out, Lumberjack Landlord, if you're checking us out, please feel free to ask questions. If there's something you want to know about a construction site or something that we're doing in construction, we can actually walk you through it and give you an explanation of why we use the product, what the product is, etc. Much like my product reviews. But this property actually just got sheetrocked last week. And so we're in the process right now getting everything mudded and taped. I think we'll probably, let's shoot upstairs.
Oh, real quick though, Matt,
Yeah.
you got a lot of fans over your completely up-to-code heating system you just got installed right here. You want to tell us about that? The city's going to love this.
So the cool thing is that you actually want to massively pump up the heat anytime that you do your mud and tape. So when you're doing your mud and tape, there's a combination of in that mud there's a decent amount of moisture. And so you want to dry that moisture out so it dries as quickly as possible so you can then second coat it and then third coat it and then sand it. And so these little drum heaters put up to the big 40-gallon propane tanks, those setups will actually get this room no problem 75 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
That actually helps this stuff dry, and it will put us in a great position to actually have the guys be able to come back tomorrow and second coat it, because you can coat it once the entire day, and then you come back and you can second coat another day, and you can third coat, and then you sand. So that's how you get through the process a whole lot faster, is if you actually have heat like this set up, where you can actually bring it to the proper temp. When we go home at night, this unit will go off. We have electric heaters that we'll put in place, and that will then keep this place at a nice warm temperature, but everything will be dry. So then the guys can come in tomorrow, turn this thing back on, and then they'll go to town, finishing up the rest of the mud tape. So you can tell right here that you've only got one coat on. You see that little splash right there? There's only one coat put on that. They need to definitely multiple coat that, because they got to go over that nail head a bunch of times. And then you'll see here, they actually got their wide tape on. And so this right here, you can see that's exactly where your seam is for your two sheets. So they really truly only got one basically tape up and then one mud over it.
Yeah, hey, real quick, fellas, if you can hear me, put a 1 down in the chat, or let me know in the chat if the sound is coming through good. I want to know how this sounds, filming in here on his phone.
Yes.
Also, the view of the Lumberjack we all needed right here. Dude, you're looking good, dude. Hey, I appreciate that, guys. Okay, sound's coming through good. Everybody can hear us.
So this is another room. This is actually this is the kitchen slash living room for this particular unit. So these units are downtown units, so they're kind of like the swanky part of town. We're literally, here's the money shot right here, we are literally right across from the town hall. It's absolutely beautiful.
Oh, did I lock it?
I think you just, there we go. No, there we go. Now you, this way, this one, this way, this one. Mike's new with windows.
Yeah, I'm gonna let him open this window.
There you go. So that is that's the town hall. So this is a super desirable location. But again, that's why you'll kind of see smaller square footage, but that's where you really optimize your square footage. So the nice layout here is this is a big enough wall where your couch will actually go here. You'll then be able to mount your TV right there against that wall. And then right here, you'll have your appliances and your kitchen cabinets, and then your upper cabinets. Again, not a ton of space, but this is a one bedroom. So if you walk into this room right over here, this is gonna be the bedroom. So it's not a super big place. All totaled, you're looking at the entire unit being about 400 square feet. So it's not a very big place, but it's a one bedroom. But because of location and because of the finishes that we use in this particular area, this one bedroom will rent for right around $2,000 a month, believe it or not. This is not our typical project type. But again, location was just flawless. We put together this unbelievable deal to get this building and the building next to it. And so when it's all said and done, cash on cash return or return on capital is going to be probably about 40%. It's going to be just crazy sick numbers. So we wanted to do this actually on site in an actual unit that we were doing in the process of rehabbing, so I can answer your questions about construction. So if you have any construction questions or wonder why certain things are a certain way or trying to better understand that, ask those questions. That's what Mike's taking a look at with looking at the questions. But yeah, I'm here to answer whatever questions you have. But
Yeah, why don't
this
you
is how we do that.
why don't you tell us real quick as questions come in. So when I was in here with him earlier, he was telling me about how he gets so quiet. We got a main road right out here, yet he was telling me he's got special sheetrock, special windows. Tell us some about that, because it's quiet in this unit even though we're right off that road.
Yeah, so what's really cool is that road actually has about 23,000 cars a day. That is the main thoroughfare that goes right down through the middle of our city. And so what Mike was actually alluding to is these windows are something called STC 35 windows. They're about twice the price of a normal window, but what you're basically getting with an STC 35 window is you are getting extra super thick glass. Then with also a special glazing on it that is a decibel reducer. And so the 35 stands for it's 35 decibels less than a normal window would allow to pass through. So that's why they're twice the price. They're much better constructed. They're much higher insular quality. So this really gives you an unbelievable envelope. Again, the biggest concern that you should have with these windows is cost. They are extremely expensive. Normally, my contractor price for a high-end window is about $300 a window. These are about $600 a window. So every single time you look at one of these windows, just know that I winced when I had to put down that I needed a quantity of one more because it was really, really expensive. Some of the other stuff that we've done too is you'll see this plastic right here. This is plastic because after we put the insulation in the walls, where we actually use a product called Roxol, which is a rock wool product. So it's anti-pest, it's anti-fire, and so it's really a fantastic product because it's not like the fiberglass insulation, which I've talked to you guys about before, where a lot of pests can get in there, they can live. And then it just doesn't fit right. And this is stuff that's pressure fit into the cavities. What's really awesome about that stuff being pressure fit into the cavities is that then you can use strapping on top of it, which is, if Mike can actually get a picture of this right here. Try and do it from this angle here, I'll swap spots with you. So if you look at this right here, this is the strapping, and all strapping does is give us a level flat surface to screw this to. So the strapping is laid across the studs this way, and the Roxol is actually into the bay. So you've got your insulation, then you've got your plastic on top of the insulation, basically creating a vapor barrier, and then you have your strapping right here. And what's really cool is if anybody's paying attention, what you'll actually see is you'll look at this product, and Mike, I'm going to swap spots with you again, switch over there, please. So this is a special product called Type X gypsum panel. What's really interesting about this product is this is 5/8. Do you see this times 8? That's the 8 foot. So this is a 5/8 inch piece. But what's amazing about this product is this product's called Quiet Rock. Quiet Rock is a very expensive product that's used only in high-end builds. The purpose of using Quiet Rock is that it's insulation with a membrane and then insulation. That gives you the sound deadening quality of literally 8 pieces of half-inch sheetrock. And you do that with 1 piece of 5/8. I always like to say, I like my sheetrock 5 times as expensive as it normally is, and that's what Quiet Rock is. But if you figure out you're doing the math, it's a lot less weight, it's a lot less time, it's a lot less work. So I'll pay 5x for Quiet Rock to replace what would be 8 sheets to get the same quiet caliber. What's awesome is that we're inside here, there's sirens that go by, there's cars that are going by. You can barely hear the whisper of a car. And we haven't even finished the outfitting, because what we'll also do is we'll also put in our insulation on the other side of these window frames. We'll do that to make sure to even further deaden the noise, and then we'll finish out the wood. So really, really, really awesome stuff. And like I said, makes them for some high quality.
Let's acknowledge some of the people that are here in the chat. So we got Chester Williams.
Hey, Chester.
Theta Hedge Capital says, glad you're out of quarantine and able to do a walkthrough.
Yeah, me too.
Lori Tenney says, yeah, All Nighter Hider, of course, our boy is here. He says, Matt looks thin. Dude, he's a big dude. He's definitely a manly man. This ain't a Dion or a Michael Zuber sized amigo right here. Chester Williams says, glad you're doing better. Elise Fire Me Please says, good morning. Chester Williams says, you're a badass. All Nighter Hider is on his way to foreclosure auctions.
Awesome.
Marco Bello says that's a modern heating system we had downstairs.
Yeah, it is. Very
Big
much
fan.
So. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's perfect. They're ideal for marshmallows, except they'll still have this like propane taste to them.
Right, yeah, you could do some s'mores down there if you're bored.
Exactly.
The Yoder says, thank goodness you're not in New York. The heater would be illegal. Great job. I love the live. All Nighter Hider says he uses hot mud. Regular mud is for finish and texture. Hot mud to build up. You know what he's talking about?
Yep. Yeah. So hot mud. Yeah, definitely a product out there. Great product. It's not, believe it or not, it's not used a whole lot here in the Northeast. Just isn't. They still like the more traditional muds. And yeah, that's just what they use here. So there's not a lot of crews out here that use the hot mud.
Cool. Chester Williams is letting me know the sound is good. Everybody's letting me know the sound is good. REI Stoners and Mark Ham. What's up, fellas?
What's up, guys?
All Nighter Hider says a good drywaller does 3 coats. A great one does 1 coat. Or does excuse me. A great one does 2 coats.
Yes,
Excuse me.
Yeah, sure. Hider, you know that this industry is dominated by not great mutters.
Chester Williams says, wow, this is a full gut project.
Yes.
So believe it or not, Chester, dude, this is a project that's like much further along than the house we were just in. The house we were just in is ripped down to the studs, and it was cold in that house. That's why the camera's shaky. I'm still cold.
So cold in there.
Evolved Properties says, wow, that's going to be nice. The Yoder's talking to All Nighter. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, Angel R. Matt, please show us the bathroom.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah, the bathrooms. So the bathroom's a lot of fun because it is a mini bathroom.
Yeah.
But what we did was there's not a whole lot of space here. And so one of the challenging things is to meet code, you actually have to have the front of your toilet 21 inches away from the beginning of where your shower pan starts. So the challenge with that is that this was originally set up and the front of the toilet was only 8 inches away from the shower pan. And so here's where the toilet goes, right there. That's the toilet flange. And shockingly, we're not saving these floors. But literally the shower pan originally came to right here. And so the front of that toilet, you had an 8-inch difference between literally the front of the toilet and the front of the shower. So what we had to do, because you can't get around that code-wise. Mm-hmm. What we did was we actually took the wall that was originally right here, and we moved the wall 16 inches this way. And so now we'll actually be able to do a pan that will come off of this wall, and it'll come out to about here. But that will give us a ton of space, or not a ton, but enough space to basically walk through, and then washer and dryer, again, the small unit, but we want to make sure that people stay forever. The fastest way to have people stay forever is give them all the amenities where there's no sacrifice. So there's no sacrifice here. There's going to be an all-in-one washer dryer combo, not a combo where it's a stackable, one here and then one here. This is going to be literally one unit, goes right here. This is the only place it's going to go. And what's really cool is when you put that thing right here, it's going to be a little bit of a dance, but I'm kind of big and I have big feet. So you basically put the thing right here, you'll be able to open up your door, set your laundry right here, throw all your laundry in. So we really got the very most out of this space. Mm-hmm. This obviously was one of the biggest challenges, but can't eliminate that because then you don't have a stairwell that can make it upstairs.
Yeah, right. You go from the stairs right here, and that's going downstairs to the bathroom.
Correct.
Or to the downstairs.
Correct. So for those of you who haven't really done a whole lot of construction before, you guys will actually see that this sheetrock is purple. The reason that this sheetrock is purple is this is the antimicrobial stuff. Hyder, you probably know the technical name for it. It always escapes me. But this is the actual anti-mold, moisture-resistant sheetrock. And that's what we'll always use in bathrooms, is we'll always use the purple stuff. If Mike wants to swap spots with me, this spot right here, we actually don't sheetrock because we don't like sheetrock behind our Wonderboard. And so Wonderboard is what we'll mount here, and then we'll be able to tile this whole thing.
Right.
And we're actually going to mount Wonderboard on that wall too, but we just didn't have the extra sheet, so we'll just do Wonderboard directly against this.
So we got a question about the shower pan. I'm trying to find it. It moved. It was somebody asked if it was going to be an acrylic pan, or I'm trying to find the question.
No,
what was it?
It will not be an acrylic pan. So what we like is we like one of two things. We either like to either A, build our pans ourselves, and then we just will put down Ditra or Schluter on top of it, or we'll actually buy a tile-ready pan.
Okay.
And so then the tile-ready pan, we can just make sure that we're perfectly level and everything's good, and then we literally just add mud and tile it on top of that, and that gives you your step-in ridges, and it gives you your proper grading down to the center drain, which is right there. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it won't be an acrylic.
Okay, back to the comment section. All Nighter Hider said that sheetrock out there, the quieting sheetrock, is like a suppressor for your sheetrock. Pew pew. Very nice. Cynthia Martinez, thanks for being here. The Yoder asks, what style trim are you using? I assume that's for the windows.
Yes, that's a great question. So that's one of the big things that really bothers me about a lot of people that will do construction and rehab units. Colonial molding is the cheap stuff. You can go to Home Depot, you can buy 8-foot pieces of colonial molding. Typically it's about 60 cents, 50 cents a linear foot is usually about what it costs. I hate that stuff. It's super ugly, it's super common. And again, the work to put that in is exactly the same work as it is to put in what I like to use, which is called Windsor. I like to use either Marblehead or Windsor. Windsor and Marblehead largely have exactly the same design. The only difference is that the Windsor will have an outer edge that's about 1 inch tall as opposed to 5/8 tall. So I actually like the Windsor trim. We don't have any trim here on site yet because we're still mudding, and we don't want to leave that stuff around because then the mudders and tapers will get mud on it because they're not Hyder. So I'll walk into another one of these units. You guys can see what one of these looks like not picked up. So this unit has not been picked up, if you couldn't tell. But that's all the joys of, that's all of our leftover sheetrock. But if you guys want to get a good glimpse of what the Quiet Rock looks like. That is not Quiet Rock. It doesn't have a seam. Oh, but this is. You can tell, not too big of a piece. Here it is. So this is the membrane piece right here. Right inside it. Okay. So this Quiet Rock is just absolutely awesome product. See, and you can actually see where's the membrane go. Yeah, see the membrane right here? This is the membrane.
Right.
So that's the membrane in between. So they basically put that stuff in between the middle, and that is a massive massive noise reducer, otherwise known as sheetrock suppressor.
Right, sheetrock suppressors.
Exactly.
So legal in all 50 states for the time being, at least.
It's true.
So you got about 40 active viewers. For everybody here, thanks for being here. If you haven't liked the video, like the video. Matt is definitely taking time out of his life for you. Tanisi Adams, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. They're saying, I've had problems finding good or great contractors in the past.
Sure.
How do you do that? Or rather, how did you start finding good people?
Sure. So one of the things that was really important to network, I did a video on digital business cards. I highly recommend those digital business cards. They're worth their weight in gold. A lot of contracting stuff like this is kind of tough to find on like sites like Thumbtack or Angie's List. You can find some, but usually there are people that will do a much smaller job. This is actually a commercial size crew that I use to do this. But the easiest way to find those is going to meetups and talking to other real estate flippers. Flippers is usually the big one because you can always design for yourself what materials you want them using. These sheetrock guys would have been more than happy putting up half inch on all the walls and then 5/8 on the ceilings, or double 5/8 on the ceilings if you use wood strapping. However, for these guys, I always tell them I want all of that the way that is. However, in the other areas, when we're talking about ceiling or when we're talking about what we call party walls, which are any walls that are ever shared between units, we always put quiet rock. The other thing too is in this back unit, we don't have any real quiet rock on the walls because we don't need it. This is a back unit, it's away from the street, you're never gonna hear anything anyway. But on that party wall and on that front unit, that entire front wall and side walls, that is all quiet rock. And the reason that it is because now you can't hear the 23,000 cars a day that actually are gonna drive by that front.
We did get a question about quiet rock on the ceiling. Do you do that, yes or no?
Nope, don't use quiet. No, we don't really need to do any quiet rock on the ceiling. How we combat noise from a ceiling perspective is, number one, strapping. If you do strapping, it will take the sheetrock off of the actual joists. So when you strap the ceiling, you put the sheetrock on the actual strapping instead of on the joists, it will reduce the amount of vibration, and that's often the noise that you're hearing. The other big thing that we'll do too is we'll also put something called Safe and Sound. It's a rock wool type of product. It does not have any insular quality to it. However, it is solely built to reduce noise and to muffle noise. So we actually put quiet rock in all the ceilings. That way you can't hear any of it. It's actually pretty awesome.
Angel R asks, where do you buy quiet rock?
So you can buy it from any larger distributors. So you usually cannot, sometimes you can, I don't know if you can special order at Home Depot or at Lowe's, I don't think you can. So the best bet is to just look up sheetrock supply companies, and you will find that they will carry it and that they'll allow you to special order it. The other thing that you can do too is you can always call them and ask them, hey, do you have a couple of contractors that you guys recommend for like flips or whatnot? A lot of times you're going to get somebody that they know pretty well, somebody that orders a lot of product from them, and that's usually pretty good because then they're usually pretty busy too. That means that they're not like a fly-by-night sheetrock company where you're like, holy cow, every single thing is out of measure here.
Terry Balu says, that ain't Chinese drywall right there, and says, he's glad to catch the live. Chester Williams goes, I was thinking of soundproof foam in the walls, but that's amazing. What do you think about soundproof foaming in the walls?
So Hydra can probably speak to that better than I could. I haven't used any of the soundproof foam in the walls, only because I've used closed cell foam in the walls, and while that drastically improves the quality of the structure, right now that stuff is about $2.15 a linear board foot. The cost for insulation for this project was about 73 cents, 75 cents a linear board foot. So it was drastically reduced over doing the spray foam. You're literally looking at 3 times the cost. I can tell you to do this building, the insulation and strapping was about $15,000. And if I had done closed cell foam, I still would have needed to strap, but I wouldn't have needed obviously the other insulation. And so that would have probably been about $32,000 just for that, and then I had to strap on top of that. So I could have $40,000 into strapping and then also having to do the closed cell phone. The soundproofing stuff, I haven't really used any of it before, other than the Safe and Sound, which has always given us the kind of the quality that we look for, and cost wise, it's reasonable.
The Flick channel says Army Strong, which I agree with.
I don't disagree at all. 1,000%.
With a lot of context, but heck yeah, man, support our vets. My brother's in the Army.
Completely agree.
T says, thanks for the tour. This is interesting.
Cool.
Tennessee Adams says, all-nighter, great suggestion. Need to start networking and talking to people, which
Yes.
I've done in the past, but was more missed than hit. Doughy. Cynthia Martinez says, I only talk to people at work because I need to get paid to talk, bruh. Okay. Cassidy Ironman, does the plastic insulation mess? Oh, back on the windows. Does that plastic insulation mess with the vapor barrier? Seems like it might trap water in your house.
So we never had any issue so far. Again, that is we have a skin on the outside, and so it's wrap on the outside. So what it was do is we haven't actually had any issue with. It's been a good sound deadener, so we haven't had any issue with the plastic on the inside. Mm-hmm. The inspectors, they're kind of like, oh, it's kind of like another step above. We're like, yeah, we agree.
Okay, watching this live makes me want to go ahead and start breaking walls. Dude, there's a giant sledgehammer downstairs. Maybe I can bring that up and convince Matt to start swinging.
No, we just hung it. No.
So you kind of talked about this already. I think this question might have come in a little late. Angel R is asking, do you recommend double layering Quiet Rock on a shared wall, or would that just be overkill?
So you could. When you see the cost of one 4x8 sheet of Quiet Rock, you'll only do one. It's just outrageously expensive. I want to say that so a piece of sheetrock is 4x8, so that's 32 square feet. Quiet Rock per piece is probably about. Let's see, what's a piece of Quiet Rock is over $100, and so you're $3 or $4 a square foot for that. I haven't ever had a situation where I used Quiet Rock, a combination of Quiet Rock and Safe and Sound. I haven't had any combination where I've had any issue with sound after that. People are just like, yeah, this is like the quietest place ever.
Right.
And even Mike said that too. He was like, damn, he's like, this is so quiet in here.
I was impressed. I've lived in downtown apartments before, and standing in that front room, there's no carpet, there's no couches, there's nothing to absorb sound at all. Right. It's literally just the windows unfinished, and it is quiet. So that Quiet Rock is definitely impressive. Okay, Jeff M says, yo, what's up, with an American flag emoji. Again, we support it. Ashley A says, just purchased my first rental today.
Awesome.
I know, I didn't think this was even an option for me until I watched your videos for the past 6 months. Thank you, Matt.
Very well.
Been mentoring this young lady right here. Jeez.
That's awesome. I'm so excited for you. That's fantastic. And now you can start on the projects and make it. See, you buy it, it's ready, and then you make it ugly. And that's what I do. I'm really good at making these things ugly and spending hundreds of thousands of dollars in the process. This entire project is only 4 units. This project is, but we are going higher end here. So this project is 4 units. It's 4 one-bedroom units, and the this project will cost probably about $250,000. And the building cost about $300,000 before the work. So it's about $500. The reason why I have to figure that out is because I bought it as part of a package deal. So yeah, it's going to be about $500,000 into this thing when it's all said and done. However, it's going to do about $8,000 a month of revenue. The cool thing is when you do a construction loan, I didn't have to worry about finishing the loan and then refinancing at 8.5 or 8 or 7.5. I'm actually locked in at my 5.25% rate when I bought this thing, which is kind of freaking awesome.
Yeah, right now it is, especially. Jeez.
So I'm at 5.25. So when I figure what my insurance, taxes, payment, all of that, all in, I'm going to be sub $4,000 a month with taxes, insurance, principal, and interest. I'll be sub $4,000 a month, and our rents are going to be about $8,000. So this will make about $4,000 a month. But the cooler thing is, to buy this property, to put the money down, I only put down a little over $100,000. So it's going to have a 40% return, or more than 40% return, closer to 50. But yeah, it'll have about a 40+% return. And so again, it's just if you're not afraid of doing construction, if you're not afraid of buying something that's a complete and total mess, the cool thing was putting $100,000 down to buy the property, but then I got the bank to finance the $200,000 part of the project. So I gave them 100, they gave me 200 to do all the work. And so when it's all said and done, I'm going to have 4 units functioning at about, like I said, right around $8,000 a month and making about $4,000 a month.
Nice. So we did get our first super chat. For those of you out there watching, super chats go to the front of the line for questions.
Always.
Tanisi Adams says, "Thank you, Matt. Have to watch the video for digital business cards today and also ask for recommendations for good contractors. Brilliant." She gave you $5.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So that digital business card, the link that I have in my thing there, it actually brings up all the ones that are available. There's really no appreciable difference between the ones there. I know that all the different vendors will tell you, oh, but ours is special. It's not special, even if it says special on the card. It's not special. They're all about the same. Really what it's all about is on my digital business card that I have, I actually put on my digital business card exactly what my buy box is, and then all my contact information, my Twitter account, I don't have a Twitter account, my Instagram account, my Facebook account, both of my emails and my cell phone. I have all of that information in there. So literally when I walk up to anybody that I've never met before and they're like, we're talking about the real estate project, I'm just like, hey, can I give you my contact information? I'd love to get yours as well. I can literally just tap their phone and they have all my info. They don't have to enter it all in. So it makes it really, really, really easy and drastically improves the number of hits that you get when actually doing that work with people and actually networking. So that business card for me, literally tapping somebody's phone, I ended up getting a deal. And that deal makes me probably about $800 a month. I wouldn't have gotten that deal without the digital business card. The guy's completely disorganized. The only reason that he called me back was because he had it in his phone and he remembered that I used my digital business card. So we can give it a little bit of like a Gary V, you know. So,
You got the beanie on.
Yeah, exactly.
You're Gary Vaynerchuk.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're hovering right around 50 active viewers, only 24 likes. Fellas, help us out. Push this out. We want fake gurus to get pushed down the algorithm and people like Matt to get pushed up, all right? But unfortunately, he's not as handsome as some of these other guys.
It's true. It's
But
very
the
true.
good news is I found some pictures of young Matt hidden away, and those will get posted on Instagram shortly. I understand why he was quite the ladies' man back in the day. Okay, Wandering Doc says, "What's up, Hyder? Hey, Matt."
What's up, guys?
Yeah, and says, and congratulates Ashley. Yeah, we can go walk around.
No, there's a bunch of trash out there.
Chester Williams says, "Wow, talk about cost savings." Rob says, "It looks kind of cold there."
It's freezing.
Dude, it's
19 degrees, and with wind chill, it's 9. It's cold. It's cold.
Andrew P says, "I freaking love seeing you two kicking it in real life. Like, I'm really pumped about it." Well, hey man, if you guys like this, wait until we have that one rental at a time event in Vegas, because it was so cool to see All Nighter Hider in person. It'll be a couple day event. We'll hang out before, after, chat, meet everybody. So promote the videos, like this stuff, support Mike. Let's make it happen.
Absolutely.
Terry Balu says, "The demo is always my favorite part of any renovation. Hello from Atlanta, Georgia."
Awesome.
Rob says, "Mike, how cold is Siberia?" But, bro, I'm going to be straight up for a second. Now, because I'm from North Dakota, where it gets to be what I call real cold, like -20, -30, the inner pride that I still have from being from North Dakota makes me say, oh, it ain't that bad. It's only 10 degrees. Matt had to borrow me a coat. He's like, "Do you want a hat?" I was like, "Oh, I mean, I'm not going to wear it just out of pride, but I'd love a hat." So,
It's true. It's true. Yeah, I was like, "Are you sure you don't want the real winter coat?" And he's like, "No, man, I'm good. I'm good." And then I like watching him holding the phone.
that's why I'm steadying myself up against the wall so you can't see the shivering.
Exactly. That's perfect.
Phil Nealon says, "Do you use any tools to estimate your remodel costs besides massive amounts of experience?"
So yeah, absolutely. One of the most important things that you can do is what we did was we kept on getting numbers. And so from painters as an example. So when a painter is doing all the painting work and they're doing trim, walls, ceiling, and then they're also including the cost of all the materials, they're about, in my area, you can get a decent job done for about $4 a square foot. And it's $4 a square foot based on the floor, not the wall square footage. So if you have a 1,000 square foot house, that job should be about, you can get a good job done for about $4,000, but that includes all material, all prep, That includes all the walls, all the trim, all the doors, and all the ceilings. And so for me, it was very much about being able to look at these numbers and then take a formulaic approach to it where I can walk a property and I know when somebody says it's 1,000 square feet and it needs to be sheetrocked, I can kind of walk through and go, okay, based on that. So what we look at typically is if it's regular sheetrock, you're usually between mud, tape, hanging it. With us, or in this area right now, you're usually about $100 a sheet. You're usually about $100 a sheet installed. And so we were a little bit higher in this case because we used a decent amount of the quiet rock. And so that got our price up to about $24, $25. So our sheetrock job here, this is about 2,200 square feet. Our sheetrock job here and our painting combined are going to be a total of about right around 30 for that. And then with our trim package that we'll put together, when we do the entire trim package, we're probably going to be each unit only has 3 interior doors. They have the bathroom, the bedroom, and then the closet in the bedroom. And then we have 2 exterior doors, one on each side of the unit. Well, for most of them, they only have one. And so you're usually, for a regular door install, we're right around 125 to 150 for a door install. And then you're usually for linear feet of trim, usually you're around $1.50 a foot. So yeah, Phil, that's a great question. That's how we got really good at what we do, is being able to look just at what the square footage was. And then when I walk around, I'm like, okay, it's 8 interior doors, it's 4 exterior doors, it is 26 windows, and 4 of those need to be casements and not double hungs. This is a double hung window because it's literally got 2 sashes. So this section of a window is called a sash. This section of a window is called a sash. There's an upper sash and a lower sash, but this is called double hung because it's 2 pieces hung. And then you'll have something really cool like you'll have these things. This is a casement window. This casement window is much, much, much more expensive because this has to meet fire code. So fire code is 5.7 cubic feet of space that a firefighter can actually get through with their oxygen on their back. And so this meets code. But if you see here, let me see here. I'll unlock this first. There we go. See a nice slide right up. But that's the amount of square footage that you need. See how close the next door building is?
Yeah.
And yeah, I own that one too.
Yeah, Matt owns the building we're in, the one next door, and the one next door. That was the tattoo parlor. I didn't actually know that Matt owned any commercial properties.
I do. So again, this is a casement window. And if you're looking at cost, because these are the STC 35s, if you missed the beginning part of the video, these are STC 35 windows, so it's 35 decibels lower than a normal pass window. But that window right there in STC 35, that's about just about a $600 window. That's about a $750 window. Very, very, very expensive. But yeah, this is a bedroom, and this is actually all quiet rock.
All quiet rock, because that's a shared wall right there with the other unit.
Yep. So this is a shared. This is a shared wall. That's a shared wall. So this is all quiet rock.
Okay, we got the Yoder saying, awesome deal, congratulations, thank you for sharing those numbers, very important for students like me.
Yes.
Terry Balu says, quads are in my future too, and continued success to you, Mr. Lumberjack Landlord.
Thank you.
Tanisi Adams says, thank you. Andrew P. says, threw you a like, sir, appreciate that.
Appreciate that.
All-Nighter Hider decided to be an absolute jerk and say it's 70 degrees in San Diego. Angel R says, the narrator is very well spoken, and then follows it up with, are you replumbing this with PEX?
Yes. So you'll actually see this line coming up from the floor right here. So that is actually specifically heat pipe, but that is plastic heat pipe. So we don't use any of the old copper. we would just rip that out. It's a whole lot easier to do that stuff. And then if you follow me over here, so this should answer Angel's question. So this is your hot water supply line. This is your cold water supply line. This is your drain. But yes, that is all brand new PEX. And then also same thing with the toilet supply line. This is the toilet supply line. It's coming through right there. And then the shower pan will actually go boom right here. That's where the shower pan's gonna go.
Nice.
So it's pretty cool. Yeah.
Cashflow Johnny Ramirez says, "What's up, fellas? I've started and just paying labor and buying materials."
Yeah, nice.
All Nighter Hider says, "Just so you know, I'm missing a Rebel Capitalist live stream to stay here. You're welcome." First of all, he's fake news because he's just on his primary account here. His Consider the Logic secondary account's probably watching the other one. Tell me I'm wrong, buddy. You know I'm not. Oscar, thanks for joining the live stream, says, on your high-end square foot price that you're working on right now, a post to your regular price, what is the square foot price difference?
So for paint, you're going to be about the same. You can go with a less expensive paint crew, but usually you're going to have more things that need addressing afterwards. It's going to be back more times, and they're slower because usually the smaller paint crews are slower and they're also less expensive. But you're not looking at a huge savings there. You might go from $4 to maybe $3.50 or $3.25 a square foot, which it can be a pretty big savings if you're looking at, like I said, 1,000 square foot. In this case, a 2,000 square foot job. This one we actually got sub 4, so I was really happy with getting it sub 4. I basically just begged and then whimpered when he wouldn't give me my price, but then they eventually acquiesced. On the trim side, there's no savings there really. On the sheetrock, the main savings on the sheetrock is you're going to be probably saved between 10 and 20% when you don't use the quiet rock. The higher end stuff that we're talking about here is the windows. So the windows in this case, STC 35s, they're they're $300 for a normal low E argon gas double pane window. It's a good quality. You're typically around $300 a window for those. For an STC 35, you're $600. So if you times that by 20, then the difference is $6,000. It's a lot of money. Mm-hmm. And then you've got the 4 casements, which are an extra. They're also twice the price. So instead of being about $350 a window, they're about $700 a window. So they're $350 more. But an extra, so an extra $1,400 there. So the biggest difference in a high-end flip versus a less high-end flip is going to be your windows. It's going to be your insulation package, usually like what you're selecting, like quiet rock in between the party walls. If you have a top-bottom unit, you're not doing any quiet rock. Mm. But I don't really have a whole lot of top-bottom units. They're almost all side-by-sides.
So Rob asks a very, very interesting question. He says, Matt, wouldn't you rather be in Vegas?
Yes. I would.
How's the hunt for the house down there going?
Hunt's going well. I'm just not going to catch a falling knife because it's a second house. I can wait. Right. I'm just waiting. It's not like the argument can be made to not wait when it's your primary home because you're losing all your tax benefits. You're losing your principal pay down in time. You have no idea where rents are going and you're going to be renting. You have no idea where values are going. But there's all those other questions. When you're buying a second home, none of that matters. Literally now today, it costs me nothing to not have a house in Vegas. Mm-hmm. If I buy a house tomorrow, it's just an added expense that I don't have to have right now. And for me, I don't mind, but I'm going to get when you see me buy in Vegas, it will be one of the world's greatest deals ever known to me when I buy there. And if you're selling me your house in Vegas, I'm going to get an unbelievable deal. Because that market's absolutely in for a significant case of the Space Mountain Pukies.
Okay, let's see here. All Nighter Hider says I already read that part. Hold on. Yeah. He goes, let's see here. Oh, Marina jumped in on the live stream. She goes, are those buildings all part of the package deal? We should go out on the street and show them the buildings, fronts of the buildings. But yeah, are they all part of a package deal? Did you buy them all at once?
So these particular ones, I bought this one, which had been basically abandoned, but it was owned by the same 2 people. And so this one hadn't had anybody living it in a decade. It was just literally sitting here and literally falling apart, holes in the roof, leaking inside. We had to do about $5,000 worth of joist and stud repair because it was just so rotted out. But we were able to keep on going until we found everything being solid. Once we saw everything was solid, we were good to go. And then the building next door, like I'll cover the full complete numbers for the entire deal because it'll blow your guys' minds. But again, and this comes from networking. This was actually a deal that I knew an investor bought, and they were like, "Yeah, we think we're going to do this deal." And I was like, "What do you mean you think you're going to do the deal?" And they said, "Yeah, we think we're going to do it." And I was like, "Well, what are the numbers?" And so he shared with me the numbers, and I basically offered him $50,000 to just give me the deal. So I wasn't like, "Oh yeah, well you're a wholesaler, I'll pay you 10 grand." No, I said I will give you $50,000 for the deal. He was ecstatic, but he bought this thing so unbelievably right.
Mm-hmm.
The $50,000 that I gave him when this deal is done is a rounding error.
Didn't you also say part of that negotiation was you gave him 50 grand, but you also wanted first crack at his next 5 deals?
It is.
Yeah, that's
and
smart.
I got another deal from him already.
Nice.
Yeah, and that deal was awesome too. That deal was awesome. So he's doing a really good job as a wholesaler for sure.
So just so you guys know, Marina, who just asked that question, she did just get under contract on her first house hack duplex.
That's so awesome.
Lumberjack, being the stud that he is, called to give a little consult to her and I because there were some electrical problems. And even though he's from New Hampshire, not Seattle, he was able to break down the electrical system, all from a 9th grade dropout. Appreciate that. Financial firefighter, 78 degrees in Hawaii. Yeah, you go kick rocks, jerk. All-Nighter Hider says, "You're wrong. The laptop is in use for the auctions. Tablet was left at home. Nice try." I guess he is literally just giving us this account. Wow, what a guy.
So if you get a close-up, you can actually see where this is a big mill city. So what's really cool is there's all these mills over here. And what's really interesting about those mills over there is that those mills rent out for crazy money. So for here, even getting $2,000 for these small 1-bedrooms, even getting that over here, people might say that's outrageous. Believe it or not, it's at a 20% discount to what they get for the same square footage in those mills. Mm-hmm. And those mills are a lot of builder grade stuff. When we say builder grade, what we really mean is not high-end cabinets, not high-end equipment. Everything in here is going to be super high-end. In fact, we went with a counter depth fridge. If you've ever gone shopping for a fridge, regular fridge you can buy for $700 or $800. As soon as you say, "I want to take off that last 2 inches back there," triple the price. Yeah. You know, and so we actually, instead of going with a $700 or $800 fridge, the fridge here was $1,700. Mm-hmm. So the question that was previously asked about, what do you see for some of the major price differences? That's one of the major things that you see. So it's selection of, the other thing too that we'll do is light setup. So we'll do our pancake lights all throughout this. The challenge that we have is first floor to second floor is that it has to be fire rated. In order for that to be fire rated and hit the appropriate fire rating, which is it has to take 2 hours to burn it up, you can't use a regular pancake light. So the only option that you have is a very expensive. A normal pancake light, I buy them for $7-8. You guys have seen the link in my recommendations videos. They're $7 or $8 a piece. A fire-rated pancake light is about $90. So it's literally more than 10 times the price, 11 times the price. So we'll actually, downstairs, we just basically set it up where we're going to use these massive 48-inch, kind of oval-shaped, 5,000 lumen lights that are absolutely elegant and beautiful, but instead of spending $600 a room in lighting, we're going to spend about $200 a room in lighting.
So we got about 47 viewers and we have 40 likes. You guys are fantastic.
Appreciate that, guys.
Another super chat came in. Brett Bisber says, "Thanks, guys, for the content."
Absolutely.
Dividend Dave, hello. How's it going, man? Ashley A.
Yes.
Is it possible to plumb a washing machine into the existing bath and shower plumbing?
Yes, it is. Yeah, it really depends. So it's where you're going to get your supply lines. Typically... well, let's go to our bathroom. Actually, no, right here. So this is what we did here. Ta-da! Check this out, Ashley. These are your new washer dryer hookups right here. And then this is your vent that you need to make sure that things don't get clogged. It's good that they were able to put that up there. But what we actually have going into this spot is we have something called an all-in-one, which is a washer and a dryer in a same unit. So what that drastically reduces for you is the need for you to run special 240 power to that point. So you can then actually just run a normal regular plug that you plug in. Now your capacity is smaller for your washer and dryer, but I'll actually get you the name. GE actually makes a really nice all-in-one. And so it's the same size as a washer or the same size as a dryer, but it does everything in there. But instead of being like some of the jumbo machines where it's like they do 4.5 or 4.3 cubic feet for a wash and 7.5 cubic feet for the dry, these do about 2.5 to 2.7 cubic feet. So it has about half the load capacity. But if you're putting that into an apartment with 1 or 2 people, they're not going to need to do more than 1 load a week. If you do that into a family, it's going to be something where that thing's probably going to run every day. To get back to your original question of can you run it off of those same lines? Absolutely. A supply line for water, hot and cold, is a supply line for water. You can put in a connector and divert that anytime you want. Usually the bigger challenge that you're going to have in putting in a washer and dryer is getting the 240 electric there, which is a much, much larger gauge cord. So if it's on a second floor, that can be more of a challenge where you might want to go ceiling down. And then if you're coming up from the basement up, that's not that much of a deal. The next biggest thing and the toughest thing, aside from the electrical piece of it, is actually the drainage. Drainage is the most difficult thing because you have to actually get a drain up from wherever point and then connect to it and then have a vent on it, because if you don't have a vent, when the water goes in, it starts to create a vacuum. You need that vent so there's actually air flow behind it that will actually allow that thing to run clear. I found numbers of buildings out here that have no venting. They don't have a stink pipe. They don't have anything. What that means is all those drains are always going to be slow, and you can have trouble flushing out Kleenex. And that gets expensive when you have to keep on hitting reflush.
Right. Angel R asks, Matt, do you approve of using PEX crimp rings behind walls?
PEX crimp rings behind walls. So I'm good with whatever the plumber's good with. I think we've used some of those. The big thing that we use most often, you saw them at the last house, Mike, which was those big shouldered copper pieces.
Yeah.
Those I love. Usually with PEX, behind walls, there's not a whole lot of behind walls with PEX with making a connection, because the value of PEX is that it's not copper. So it's malleable, it's flexible. Usually the only time that you're doing anything when you're finally getting to PEX and doing, making some sort of a connection, usually the only thing you're doing at that point is you're doing the out piece, right, like this, because the water comes up in the line through the wall. It comes up into a holder, like this, and then it jumps straight out. So then you have an elbow right there. So yeah, we've used a lot of those, Angel. We've used a lot of those in the past. Haven't had any issues yet, but who knows if it's the next class action lawsuit like polybutylene. And for those of you who don't know what polybutylene is, it was the first version of PEX. It was an amazing, amazing product. It was used in an absolute ton of homes. And then they found out that the way that they manufactured the material, that the chlorine in your water would actually eat away at the pipe, thin it out, and then it would make it burst. So they actually got hit with so many lawsuits. Then they got hit with a class action lawsuit. It put them out of business. There was a huge fund that you used to be able to go and get money out of it when you could prove that you needed to upgrade your polybutylene lines. What was really funny was I bought a house 7 months after the class action lawsuit fund had expired. And so I was like, I guess I'm upgrading all my polybutylene all by myself, and I'm not going to get any money out of the fund. So
That's just how it is.
Yeah. But do you want to go next door
Yeah.
to commercial use?
Yeah. Let's go look at your other building. So you guys will go out down on the street. I have an idea for a pre-recorded video for Matt of him just standing in front of his properties. Because literally we're driving down the road together. We're just trying to get to his house. And on the way there, I own that. Yep, and I own that one. And I own this one. Actually, a buddy of mine owns those 3, but I'm going to take him from him. He's a real humble guy.
I didn't take the name.
All right, you said you were going to get him eventually. Here's that clock tower again. We had pizza there last night. That place was good.
It was awesome. can see how quiet it was inside the house, and then you see how loud it is outside.
Oh, we're getting real important questions here, Matt. Real important ones. Yeah, I asked you this one myself. Cassidy Ironman, any leads on that Lambo you're looking for?
Yes. But I haven't bought one yet. It's not cheap enough. I said to them, I said, I will give you X for it. And he said, that's crazy. I said, call me when you're ready. So this is...
Well, this one's warm. How come we didn't start in here? This is a warm building.
Yeah, well, it's because this heat system actually feeds the entire building. Okay. So there's nothing I can do. And I'm literally looking for the thermostat now to figure out why it's so low. Yeah, so it's set on 50, but it's 65. Nice. That's because heat's on probably next door and upstairs too.
Mm-hmm. Let's see here. All-Nighter Hider talking to Ashley. Let's see here. Phil Nealon negotiating first right of refusal on his next 5 deals was super smart.
Thank you.
Yeah, very smart.
Yeah, honestly, got me the next deal. The next deal that I bought from him was 2 duplexes on the same piece of land. I literally said to him, he starts out with, it was a horrible negotiation on his part. He starts out with saying, don't worry, I'm not expecting $50,000 on this deal. I said, good. We went back and forth, and I said, what would make you happy? And I said, what's the price? He said, I said, what would make you happy? And he goes, I'd like for me and my partner to walk with $10,000 each. And I said, yes. He's like, really? I said, yeah, sure. That's fair. And so I bought that deal for $327,000. It was 2 side-by-side duplexes. The Section 8 rents, it's 3 2-bedrooms and 1 3-bedroom. The Section 8 rents on that or Housing Authority rents are 14, 14, 14, and 17. And so it's, what is that, 30, 42... 59, so it's $5,900 a month that deal makes. And I've had to spend about $10,000 in those units, but they're nice dated units. They're not, super new, but they're nice, they're clean, they're kind of dated, kind of like 90s look. But yeah, that deal absolutely prints money. So I was, again, elated, like literally, aside from when my wife or my kids call me, that's like my second favorite phone call. It's getting a call from that wholesaler. Because the numbers are just always just so ridiculously good. So yeah. This place used to be a cabinet shop. We're actually working on it now. We've got a couple of people interested. It might be a hair salon with a little bit of work that we need to do here. But that's still kind of to be determined. And then this was, the nice thing is when they put the built-ins in here, these built-ins are beautiful.
Oh, that's a nice countertop right there.
Dude, that's beautiful, right?
Nice undermount sinks.
Yeah, undermount sinks, beautiful cabinet, nice stack. Yeah.
Oh, you went out of frame. Get in here. Sup, fellas? I don't know if I can zoom very well.
But yeah, so that's the cabinet shop, and then this is actually going to be a nail salon, not a nail salon. This one is going to be, oh no, this one is the nail salon. Yes. So this one's going to be a massive, huge nail salon. Again, great company, but this is a massive space. What's really interesting is this window's open. You've already heard all the shouting I'm going to do today about windows. But what's really cool about this particular space is, number one, you've got a huge wide open flooring, but one of the cool things, floor plan, one of the things that's really important about nail salon spaces is air replacement. And air exchanging is what they call it. And so what that means is all of these vents that you see here in your typical stand where your normal mani-pedi chairs are going to be, like you're sitting up there and then your little buckets down here, and you're getting your feet all squishy. When you're doing all of that mani-pedi stuff, what's really crazy about it is that you guys have gone into plenty of nail salons. You walk in the door and you're like, woo! Woo! That is crazy bad. Well, a lot of towns now have statutes that your place can't be like that. So that's all about air exchanging. So what we do is we actually put two huge exhaust systems here where we take all of these items, we tie them into one big main line, which is called a trunk. We plug them into that, we put them into that trunk, and then we put a massive, massive centrifugal force fan on there, which actually pulls the air through. So when you measure the amount of cubic feet in this space, you figure this is the amount of cubic feet that you have in the space, and this is how much air is in that space. And then they come up with a calculation to say you need to replace that air every 4 times an hour, 5 times an hour. So this has actually got a very powerful system in it. This one actually replaces the air 6 times an hour. So if you're ever planning on renting out to a nail salon or becoming a nail salon, you need to be able to do the math on being able to get air replacement in.
All Nighter Hider says Cali nail salons know nothing of air replacement. The flush comes right out front of the store at the Walker Buys. Marina says it's impressive that the lumberjack knows his way around a nail salon. So,
like you read about, sadly. Yes. And when I negotiate with all of my commercial tenants, is that I get some sort of a discount.
Nice, very smart.
Yeah.
He is Mr. Big Guy around here. Like every place we've walked into, everybody knows him by name. We walked into some breakfast diner with a line out around the block, and they were like, "Oh, hi, Matt. Your table's right here." I was like, "Sweet. I need this type of service."
Yeah, it was good. I said to him too. I said to Mike beforehand, I was like, I like to go to the same places kind of over and over again, but they have to be really good and they have to have some variety. So anybody that I can take there, it's cool. And so we have those kind of 8 to 10 places that we go to on kind of a regular basis. But yeah, I've talked to the owners of all those places and I've just said, I'm happy to always bring guests here. I'm happy to always play a part here and be a very valued patron. Is there any way that I can skip the line?
Dude, when you're this big, you got to eat.
Yeah, no, shouldn't talk again.
Terry Balu says, question concerning attached rental units.
Yeah.
What is your opinion on a tankless water heater to save space?
Yeah, so we actually, in the space next door, that's exactly what we have actually. We have oh, there's one of my tenants. Bye. We actually have what's called a combi boiler. So if you guys have seen, really good news. I actually just got in touch with the North American representative for IBC. IBC is the product that I absolutely love. It's a combi boiler. It's also an on-demand hot water heater. The reason they call it a combi is because it has the on-demand coil setup as well as all of your heating setup. So it's an absolutely phenomenal product. It's made by IBC. They're a Canadian company. I swear by their product. I've now deployed 31 of those to the field. I absolutely love that system. He's finally coming on the channel. We're going to be able to do that as kind of a deep dive. You guys will be able to ask all your questions. I can tell you that it's by far a superior system to anything else that I've used. So yes, you can absolutely do it. What you need to look for is you need to look for on the system sizing, it will tell you how many outlets can be running hot water at the same time. So it will usually give you like a code, like a 3-shower code, a 4-shower code, a 5-shower code. So what you want to do to make sure you don't undersize it is recognize that a lot of times people wake up at the same time, and so it needs that same kind of concept as air replacement. It needs to be able to keep that water hot, but it's also going to have water replacement, right? And so yeah, the one that I use is 199,000 BTU combi boiler, and that is going to service all 4 of the 1-bedroom units next door.
Nice. Well, we're wrapping up here with pretty much just the end of the questions. Cool. Back to the Future scene with the clock tower. Yeah, that's what I thought when I first saw it too.
Very much so.
Let's see here. All Nighter Hider, last comment. He goes, I may use some air miles to go visit Matt before Vegas. Never mind the self-invitation. But for a brief second, we had 49 viewers and 49 likes. So I think, and we've been going for an hour and 5 minutes. So Matt, you want to wrap us up?
Yeah, so guys, as always, we love having you guys come and hang out during the live streams. Love that we were able to do this with you guys and walk through some of these buildings. I think we're going to actually do one more tomorrow too before Mike leaves. So we'll get you guys in. We'll be able to show you another couple projects. We'll probably show you one. It's supposed to be 20 degrees warmer tomorrow. That's why we saved the other building that has no insulation, a bunch of broken windows. that's why we saved that one for tomorrow. But appreciate you guys always coming and hanging out. Make sure you hit the like button on the way out. And if you haven't subscribed already, what the hell are you waiting for? So appreciate you guys. Mike, thanks so much for doing this with me.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time.